I'm sitting in my rig at a Boise truck stop, staring at the road ahead, but my mind's stuck 3 months back. What happens when the love of your life, after 24 years, betrays you in ways you can't imagine? How do you pick up the pieces when your entire world shatters? This is my story, and it's raw, real, and ready to pull you in. Once more, the tale begins. This man possesses remarkable self-control. I'm lost on how to begin. Here it is. In my rig at a truck stop, memories flood back to when everything unraveled 3 months ago. I need to share this story, to untangle the chaos in my mind, and perhaps guide someone else facing the same darkness. 12 years on the road, I began this journey when my youngest turned 17, no longer needing mom's presence as much. The money was tempting, far beyond what I could earn in our small town of Boise, Idaho. 3 weeks away, 1 week back. It was a trade-off that gnawed at me. It was our ritual. I believed it was perfect for us. My wife, Charlotte, wore a smile, but shadows lingered beneath. She immersed herself in her work at the Ada County Clerk's office, shared laughter with her girlfriends, and managed the house with unwavering dedication. Returning home meant our week together awaited. Stay in the loop. Then, I would step back outside. After 24 years of marriage, it felt like a strong foundation had been built. It hit me hard when she stopped caring about my roots. She craved every detail of my journey, where I was going, what I carried, when I'd return. Her absence echoed with longing, a silent testament to what we shared, a quiet warning he overlooked. When communication shifts, it often goes unnoticed. But sometime last spring, those questions vanished. I'd ring her up from the highway, saying I was driving cross-country or somewhere far away like Denver, Colorado. She'd simply reply, "That's nice, honey," and shift the focus. The phone calls dwindled to mere whispers. We once shared an hour of deep conversation every night. As I parked for my break, she shared the day's whispers from work, her eyes sparkling with intrigue, while I revealed my own secrets. Those conversations were my lifeline during the endless days apart from home. Slowly, she began to sever them completely. She was perpetually on the move, driven by an urgency that consumed her. Perhaps she was finally settling into the routine, discovering her own rhythm in my absence. Absolutely. Let's dive in. A man struggles to understand the subtle change in his wife's words. Hell, I believed her independence was a sign of health, that she wasn't just waiting for me. In hindsight, I see the foolishness of my choices. The first true warning hit me hard during my home week in June. I logged into our bank account, heart racing, to see if we had enough for the urgent house repairs I needed to tackle. That's when the charges hit me hard. I noticed the expensive dinners, always 4 times the amount for one. When I asked if she was treating herself while I was away, she got defensive. She claimed she needed the social interaction with girlfriends, which seemed reasonable, yet her reaction felt unsettling, raising a deeper concern within me. I held back, thinking perhaps it was just my imagination running wild. Next came the gym membership. For years, Charlotte embraced herself completely, never once hinting at a desire to change. So, when I stumbled upon a membership card for an upscale gym in Boise I'd never heard of, confusion washed over me like a tidal wave. She expressed a desire to get in shape, to shed a few pounds. It puzzled me. She had always embraced her body. Still, I stood by her, affirming that I thought it was wonderful. She was focused on herself. even suggested joining me at home. But she chose her girlfriends instead, drawn to their familiar routine. They did it. Her newfound obsession with personal grooming was the ultimate surprise. Charlotte has always captivated me with her beauty. Her routine was simple: drugstore shampoo, minimal makeup, and comfy clothes. Yet, there was something captivating about it. Then, out of nowhere, she walks in with pricey perfume, nails perfectly manicured every 2 weeks, flaunting outfits that leave me breathless. I told her she looked nice, hoping it would lift her spirits while I was gone. Maybe it was a midlife crisis, a search for confidence and allure. I wanted to be supportive, even as our savings dwindled. By late July, an unsettling feeling gnawed at me. Something was deeply amiss. Everything is shifting. The strange bank fees, her unfamiliar routine. It gnawed at my insides. I hired a private investigator for nearly $6,000. I had to uncover the truth while I was gone, and it didn't weigh on me as much as I expected. My instincts roared that something was off. He excelled at his work, leaving no detail overlooked. In just 2 weeks, he amassed it all: documents, photos, videos, schedules. While I was away, Charlotte entertained 4 men. A construction worker named Brian visited on afternoons. An older man named Charles in a suit came by in the evenings. A younger guy named Dylan appeared on select nights. And another man, David, dropped in on weekend mornings, all while she claimed to be running errands. The investigator labeled it a rotation, claiming he'd never witnessed anything so extraordinary. She arranged them meticulously, each man a fleeting moment, different days, sometimes even different hours. For at least 8 months, perhaps longer, she had been at the helm of this operation. As the evidence unfolded before me, a sharp pain pierced my chest. The PI revealed that Brian and Charles often appeared together on specific afternoons, their routine as predictable as clockwork. August marked the moment everything shattered. 3 weeks of hauling furniture across the country to Seattle, Washington, and then canceled. Just like that, everything changed. One morning, the dispatcher called. A warehouse fire had struck the receiver. Delivery was off. I was still loaded, but I had to turn back, trailer in tow, to the terminal. The PI's words about the schedule echoed in my mind. I chose not to call Charlotte about my early return. I arrived home around 2 in the afternoon, eager to see for myself. Charlotte's car was absent from the driveway, a common sight since she was at work. But 2 familiar vehicles loomed on the street, straight from the PY's photos. As I unlocked the door, whispers echoed from above. Voices of men, many. Whispers echoed from our bedroom. I stood at the foot of the stairs, heart racing, fully aware of the chaos above, yet struggling to accept its reality. Movement and whispers pierced the silence, stretching moments into what felt like an eternity. I dragged myself up the stairs. I had to witness it myself. The bedroom door stood ajar, a narrow glimpse into a world hidden from view. What I witnessed mirrored precisely what the investigator revealed. Charlotte stood there, flanked by Brian and Charles from the photos. They crowded my bed, and in that moment, something within me shattered. I swung the door wide and stepped inside. Charlotte screamed. The men scrambled, frantic, desperately clutching at clothes to shield themselves. I stood frozen, absorbing the weight of 24 years of marriage. This is what awaits me at home. Brian struggled to pull on his pants, inching toward the window, a hint of desperation in his eyes. Meanwhile, Charles fumbled for a shirt, his face flushed with embarrassment and urgency. Charlotte sat on the bed, the sheet covering her mouth, gasping like a fish out of water. I remained silent, offered no threats. I glared at them, my voice low and dangerous. "Leave now, or I'll bury you all." The two men sprang into action without hesitation. They snatched whatever clothes they could and dashed past me, as if the flames were consuming everything. The front door slammed twice, echoing their desperate escape. It was just us, alone in the dim light of our bedroom. She spoke, desperate to justify, weaving excuses. I confronted her, demanding she leave. When you see a story like this on the news, it rarely concludes with hope. When betrayal unfolds within the walls of home. Once she was gone, I sank into the couch, lost in a fog, grappling with what came next. The confrontation haunted me, their expressions etched in my mind. As I stepped into the chaos, the frantic energy, Charlotte's face when she understood, I had known all along. That night stretched endlessly, a truth I faced head-on with all three of them, and there was no escaping what had unfolded. I was painfully aware of Charlotte's betrayal. In that moment, I realized my marriage had shattered. Hell unfolded over the next few days. I found her entwined with two men in our bed. The PI's evidence revealed a haunting truth. It had been happening for months. In that moment, I grappled with the betrayal, the lies, the crushing realization that my marriage had been a facade while I toiled to keep us afloat. Memories flooded back, each one clicking into place with startling clarity. She never missed a shower. Upon my return, her phone lay face down on the table, a silent barrier between us. She always had an excuse: tired, unwell, never wanting to make love during my home weeks. It all made sense now. The gym membership, the new clothes, the pricey beauty treatments. She wasn't trying to impress me. She was keeping herself ready for her lineup of boyfriends. Meanwhile, I was out there working hard to support us. The photos, the videos, the schedules from the PI, and what I saw with my own eyes. This was no mere imagination or paranoia. This was an entirely different existence. While I toiled to secure our life, she lived. Every mile I drove, every lonely night at a truck stop, every sacrifice for our marriage weighed heavy on my heart. She had spent those hours entwined with half of Boise. When we finally spoke, she faced the truth head on. She froze the moment I entered. She confessed her loneliness, how my absence had made her feel abandoned and neglected. She claimed she never intended for it to escalate, yet she found herself unable to pull away. As it began, I turned to her and asked if she loved any of them. She insisted it was nothing more than physical, merely a distraction to fill the void in my absence. It only deepened the pain, yet it was meant to be just for fun. I toiled endlessly while she turned our home into a playground. I declared my intent to divorce, and she didn't even resist. Never urged me to think again. She claimed to understand my choice. The divorce dragged on for 9 excruciating months, but the PI's evidence made it all a bit easier. My lawyer once revealed that her lawyer planned to battle me on every front. Idaho has strong laws for cases like this, especially with proof of betrayal. I secured the house. Our savings and my retirement remain untouched. She held on to her job, and her boyfriend, I suppose. Our kids were devastated. 2 adults, each with their own families, stand helpless as their parents' marriage crumbles before their eyes. I revealed the truth, laying bare the evidence that proved this was never my decision. Disappointment in their mother burned deep. Anger simmered over betrayal, yet they fought to keep ties with us both. I'm still behind the wheel, still on those endless stretches. But now, the nights on the road are different. No more calls, home to a wife who might have company. No more hurrying back to someone counting the days until my departure. In that solitude lies a raw freedom, sharp and piercing. At times the house stands silent, void of life. Now, I often contemplate selling it all, wiping the slate clean, and beginning anew somewhere far away like Missoula, Montana. For now, it belongs to me. It matters, I think. My ex-wife is out there, in an apartment in Boise, still at the clerk's office, keeping her routine alive. Sometimes, I encounter people who question our breakup, their curiosity lingering in the air. I explain how we drifted, how the distance finally took its toll. Many simply accept that reasoning, never probing further. Those who truly knew her likely harbor their own dark suspicions about the truth of what transpired. What haunts me are those phone calls, those lonely nights at a desolate truck stop, whispering goodnight to Charlotte. She'd say she missed me, glued to the screen or lost in a book, counting the moments until I returned. In the shadows, she weighed her options, deciding which boyfriend would hear from her next. I can't shake the thought. Did any of them realize the truth about the others? The PI noted that at least 2 were seen together, so they must have known something. But did they know she was married to a trucker, tirelessly working to make ends meet? Or did she paint me as a deadbeat who walked away? The investigator revealed that scenarios like this occur far more often than one might imagine. Many marriages strained by travel often face infidelity, typically marked by 1 or 2 betrayals. He never recorded anything as methodical as what Charlotte was undertaking. I'm seeing a counselor, battling through the anger and betrayal. She insists Charlotte's choices stem from her own struggles, not from me. Intellectually, it adds up, but emotionally, it shatters me. 24 years of my life feel like a deception. Loneliness is the hardest part. After 2 decades together, they are your anchor, your home, your refuge. Even in its shattered state, the relationship felt hauntingly familiar. For the first time since my 20s, I find myself utterly alone at 53, grappling with the unfamiliarity of being single. I'm learning, moving through each day, each mile. The road remains unchanged. The job stays the same, yet everything else has shifted. Perhaps that's not such a terrible outcome after all. Perhaps I need to discover who I truly am, free from a marriage that decayed unnoticed while I was lost in work. Remarrying is the last thing on my mind right now. Trust shatters, and rebuilding feels impossible. Yet a flicker of hope remains. Someone out there craves a true partnership, not just a fleeting connection. Right now, I'm diving deep into myself, savoring solitude, uncovering the beauty in familiar places I've overlooked for too long. These marriages cut deep. You share years, then suddenly they vanish. It's a relief, especially after betrayal. Now, I can build a life that's truly mine, untouchable, unrecognizable to anyone who tried to steal it. It's not the life I envisioned, but it's real. After enduring a lifetime of deception, truth feels exhilarating. Thanks for watching this story on Addy's Story. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, share, and hit that subscribe button so you never miss a new tale. Stay tuned for more, and until next time, take care and keep living your own amazing stories.